And welcome to the Barry Foster Show on YouTube, originating from the Ridge Floor Studios in the City of Charm, beautiful downtown Avon Park. Now, if you have any thoughts, ideas, or suggestions for the program, topics you'd like us to broach, people you'd like us to talk to, just drop us a note in the comments below here. If you'd like to become a sponsor, that's very easy. Send us a little email at thebarryfostershow@gmail.com. We'll send you a rate card, and check the YouTube page here every weekday, Monday through Friday. We're going to try to put up a new program Monday through Friday. And like and subscribe our YouTube page and join our pages at the Barry Foster Show on Facebook and Instagram. That would be very helpful. In the studios, we have Jane Benham, who is with the Avon Park Main Street program. Are you the president of the Main Street program, director? What do they call you?
I have the super fancy title of executive director.
Wow.
It's a big deal.
Yeah, it is. When did you decide to try to start a Main Street program here?
About a year and a half ago.
Now, has it been a long and winding road, or what kind of research did you do to determine what a Main Street is, what it does, and how you could make it happen here in Avon Park?
So I actually had no knowledge on what a Main Street program was until I received a grant from the city of Bartow. And when I arrived at Bartow, it's such a cute town. You just notice all the murals and you notice all the planters and all the just a really cool historical markers all throughout their downtown. And I found out that they had a Main Street program. And the grant was initially started with their Main Street program, but then because it went over a certain amount, I had to go to their CRA. But I learned a lot from their executive director. And I was just like, every time you see a town that's that cute, you instantly want to bring it back, And I was just like, this could be Avon Park. It wasn't unrealistic what they have done. So I just felt the need to want to bring it to Avon Park.
So did you do a lot of research into the Main Street program, what it is, what it does, how it works?
Yeah. So because of that grant, I had to work with their Main Street program. So I got to see a little bit of the inside through Main Street Bartow. But then I just went down the rabbit hole and I ended up finding out that we had a Main Street program from about 1989 to 2009. So it was kind of shocking that Avon Park actually had a Main Street. And that's when I started working with Tallahassee and really asking the questions and seeing how could we reinstate the program.
So you have a Chamber of Commerce. You have what they call a community redevelopment agency, where they use what they call tax increment financing in a certain area to help get away from what's the terminology they use, slum and blight, to try and improve things. How does Main Street fit in between the Chamber of Commerce and the CRA and the City Council and all kind of the existing organizations here in Avon Park?
So I think that's the biggest hurdle right now for us as an organization is trying to explain to everyone how they're different and how they're not meant to step on each other's toes. They're actually supposed to be working together. Last year when I made the proposal, I called it the trifecta, but this year I'm calling it the quadrant because we've included the city. So basically the CRA historically has been to reduce slum and blight. They've been known of doing like a lot of facade grants, things on the exterior of the buildings. And some CRAs are different. I know that right now our CRA and economic development manager is trying to do more stuff on the interior. But then also with the chamber, I've owned a few businesses. So I love all the chambers. I think that if you're a small business owner, you need to belong to your chambers, especially if you're like me, a transplant, and you don't know many people. It's a great way to meet the business members in the community. And what they're supposed to be doing is really advocating for their members and creating networking opportunities. And just basically grow your business. Whereas Main Street is different. We advocate for the community. And you do get networking opportunities, but they're different. A chamber, you can pass your business card out and say, hey, I'm Jane Benham and this is what I own. And you get that instant result. Whereas Main Street, we do a lot of community projects and community events. So you as a business owner can get involved by wearing your t-shirt. You may be helping us plant our pollinator garden and you're wearing your Barry Foster Show, t-shirt, and someone go, oh, what do you do? And that's when you turn over and you say, my name's Barry Foster. And so there's ways to reap the benefits as a business owner. However, Main Street's about being a part of something bigger than just your business, because the more we do as a community, the more benefits you reap. They're just subliminal. So the more events we bring in, the more foot traffic, the more sales you're going to make. The more beautification projects, the more the property value is going to go up. And so we try to stress that the CRA can help you with the exterior. But what we see in historic downtowns is that the outside may be beautiful. However, because there's not enough foot traffic in a historic downtown, the stores that are inside are constantly revolving. So we need to address why are the businesses closing and really work hand in hand with the downtown stores. And, the chambers, a member's a member. It doesn't matter where you're from, whereas we really focus on the Main Street. And I think the fact that this is a state program, it's ran under the Historical Resources division with the state. And I think the fact that it's in a national program with Main Street America, this is vetted, it's proven, it's working in multiple states and over 54 cities in the state of Florida. We have, I want to say, we're held to a certain standard. We have quarterly reports that we have to report to the state of Florida. And I love all the local nonprofits and the things they do, but being held to a standard to be an accredited program is very important.
So you've had a meeting or two already in the community?
Yes, we've had about 3 community chats, and that's where we involve the public for their input.
So I meant the first one I think was down at the Historical Society. Have they all been at the Historical Society? What kind of response have you gotten out of those?
I feel pretty good. We've had over 20 people at each of them. And what's amazing is that I feel like if you're in Avon Park, everyone knows everyone, right? And there's been times we've had city council members, we've had CRA advisory members, we've had, the chamber director, and nobody knows anyone in the room. And that's very shocking. And every time one of them leave, they're like, I cannot believe we don't know anyone. And it's because it's not just business owners. It's property owners, it's citizens, it's residents, it's people from Sebring who grew up here.
So now are you going to require that they wear name tags so you can call them by their first name and say, oh, you must be Mary?
Yeah, they could do whatever they want, and I think that was, it's really cool to see what the organization's supposed to be. But then when you get to actually visualize it in person, and when they say that everyone has a seat at the table, it just proves it. Because when you're, every city's different, but typically if you want to sit on a council or an advisory board, you either have to be a resident or own a property or a business. And sometimes you're right outside those city lines. And this has been really nice to see, because we had a business that's right outside the city lines, owns like the second oldest business in Highlands County, but they always felt like their voice wasn't heard because they weren't in the city limits. So this is a way for people to say, you know what, I have an opinion, I want to voice it, and I really believe it's being listened to.
So the Community Redevelopment Agency, the CRA, it's got like boundary lines, and within that boundary line, you're eligible for a CRA grant of some description. You mentioned a facade grant, that's to fix up the outside. You want to put awnings on the front, whatever. Is the Main Street program, is that limited to Main Street, or is that also limited by a boundary?
Yes, so and it is different from the CRA's Main Street because they include a lot of houses and things like that. Now, our current jurisdiction is going to be the Main Street area. We're not as restrictive. If something needed something on one of the side streets, we can always expand. But starting off, because there's so much work that needs to be done, we are focusing right now on the Main Street area.
It seems like you've come in at a good time, because there seems to be a lot of development both at Main Street and some of the side streets. And I specifically Museum Avenue, where the new baseball museum is going in. So you've come in a time when things seem, the pendulum seems to be on the upswing.
Yes. And I'm really excited. I mean, and sometimes is there ever really a right time? Sometimes you just have to jump in. I felt like last year it wasn't the right time, and some people will probably say this isn't the right time. But if we wait for the right time, it's never going to happen. And that has kind of been my motto since coming to Highlands County. I'm like, if we wait for someone to do it, y'all, we're going to be waiting forever. So I just try to do as much as possible. And if it's something that I stay doing and it's great, that's fine. But even if I just started and someone takes over it, regardless of what it is, at least it was started, So it's just about laying the foundation at this point.
Well, even as we speak, the new poorhouse on Main Street has just opened up, and I believe they're going to get a next door neighbor. It's a decor shop of of some description?
Yes, I went there last night actually. To the poorhouse. I love their tater tots. They're so good. But yeah, we have Hacienda that's coming in, and they are a vintage store, and they've been sharing. They're very active on Facebook, and we have Sophie's Cafe going into the Brickell building as well.
So is part of your job to kind of craft the downtown area like a little Department 56 building place? But we have this. We sure like to have this kind of a shop and try to entice them to come in. Someone who does not provide that service currently downtown.
Yes, I mean if we could strategically bring in certain stores and industries, that would be great. Is that how it works? No, but that's why it's really important to be involved. Like one time I was up at like midnight and I was just on the property appraiser, just clicking on some of the vacant building owners and just seeing if I could find their information, because I'm like, let's see, why are they vacant? Is it a money issue? Is it, you don't have any help? Is it in litigation? What is the reason that this building is not being utilized? And if we could help with any of that, then we need to, but sometimes it takes reaching out and just asking. But it is hard. A lot of the buildings are kind of what people like to call held hostage. So we're very limited. So I'm really grateful for the buildings like the Brickell building that you can use as like an incubator where you can fit multiple businesses in one spot, like the Jacaranda as well.
How does someone hold a building hostage? What I don't understand what that means exactly.
So typically it's a building that sits vacant. The owner does not want to sell or lease it or rent it.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that the rent's too high, he just doesn't want to rent it at all. Is that?
Yeah. There's buildings on Main Street right now that have been vacant, that whether it's they don't want to rent or they want to sell, and then the price is changing and property values are going up. Maybe it's not affordable anymore. So there's quite a few vacant buildings that the owners are not willing to sell or rent.
So as part of your deal is do you have a list of an inventory of vacant spaces if someone's looking for a place that they would like to put a supermarket, somebody wants to put an audio store, and then pick the vendor of your choice, and you can say, well, this place is vacant and that place is vacant, and I know that the owner wants $1,600 a month for this one, or $3,000 a month for another one. Do you have that kind of a list that helps you attract the kind of people that you want to bring in for certain kind of businesses?
Yeah, so that's definitely, so one thing we have to create is a downtown directory. And I don't think that people really understand how many businesses we have downtown. Just on like the Main Street area, there's over 50, because people forget about what is that, CVS, Walgreens. Mm-hmm. They forget about that little plaza right there. You have someone like, let's say, the Chamber of Commerce, who has multiple businesses inside of one. Look at the Jacaranda. So we have over 50 businesses on our Main Street. And then we also have to create an inventory of not only those historical buildings, but the ones that are vacant as well.
Now, to finance this, does this come through private sector? Does it come through grants? Does the city finance? How does your money come in to make this business work?
So historically, it's funded 33% city funds, 33% CRA, and then 33% memberships. And the reason why that it's broken down that way is because at the end of the day, this program is going to benefit the city, right? They own, and I mean, I'm not trying to say just specifically to Avon Park, but genuinely, Avon Park, most of the cities own a lot of land or buildings in their jurisdiction. So the more that this program does, the more their value go up as well. And an organization like this usually is tasked with a lot, bringing in events, doing marketing, promotions, working with the downtown businesses. We're like an ombudsman kind of. So they're also getting multiple positions out of one organization. And then it really helps create a destination location with investors. The more that we do, the more we're going to create tourism and, things like that. And typically with the CRA, they are funded as well. Now, CRAs are changing. There's a lot going on. I don't know much about it. I know that some of them, I think they're going to be sunsetting. I think that ours will be sunsetting in about 12 years. So the CRAs are kind of iffy as to what they can and cannot fund because they're very restricted. But we do a lot of projects that do fall in line under CRA things, right? Like murals and stuff like that. And then memberships. Yes, we host a lot of events, but we're not event coordinators. And that's what Tallahassee, Florida Main Street really stresses. We are not event coordinators. We have a membership, because if we rely on events and another pandemic happens, where are we going to get our funds? So this program is so important to the community that the only way you could truly, truly guarantee its survival is if it has funds coming from, an established source. And typically it's your city. And again, I've noticed a lot that the residents are like, we want, downtown to be beautiful. We want to have events. We want this, this, and that. But again, when you wait for private organizations or private individuals, they may do it for a while and then it may just abruptly stop. Now, if it's someone's job to bring that, you're going to have consistency and you're going to create that town. And right now, we just don't have that. Well, now we do, but in the past, we haven't.
So do you already have some private sector donations, some members, if you will, that have joined the Main Street program?
Yes. So we have a few memberships. We actually have not pushed the memberships just yet because we have quite a bit of events going on right now. And we're working on our website and things like that. So that at least they'll have multiple ways of paying. But basically, just strictly off word of mouth, we have received some memberships of the downtown merchants and things like that.
Any money from the CRA or the city?
The city has granted us $30,000 for the year, but that's in quarterly payments of $7,500. So we will not receive any money until, I want to say we have to submit it by like December 1st. So we're not for sure if we'll receive it in December or will we actually receive it in January. So even though we were approved for $30,000, we have $0.00 right now.
Well, let me tell you from experience, government moves slowly.
Yes.
So whenever you think you're going to get it, add a couple, 3 weeks onto that because it'll take a while. But that being said, so let's say I'm the city and I'm going to get ready to pay out my $7,500 a quarter. What do I get for my $7,500? What do I expect from Jane Benham and the Avon Park Main Street program to produce?
So basically right now in our contract, they know that in order for us to have a Main Street program, you have to have a paid executive director. That's not a made up rule. That is a requirement because they want to make sure that there's someone that is actually going to take this seriously and that it's not going to be deactivated for the second time. So that was a rule that was, or a requirement given by Florida Main Street. And we provided all those documents as well. We also said that we would create the directory. We put that we were going to have events. We said that we were going to paint a mural on the restrooms over here across the street. And we said that we wanted to do some sort of a pollinator garden. Now, how they're going to break up all those payments between salary and projects and all these things, I'm not sure because it all depends on memberships. If we can increase the memberships, then some of that won't even have to be used for salary.
Let me just ask you right now, if I wanted to join and I wanted to be a member, you'd say, well, Barry, this is what it's going to cost you to be a member. How do you have like gold, silver, platinum, bronze members? How does it work to be a member? What do I have to pay to join?
So we have friendships. Those are $50 for the year. That's just an individual, right? Some people think you have to live in Avon Park. You don't. I live in Sebring. I just genuinely love Avon Park. It's been good to me, and it has so much potential. But maybe you grew up here. Maybe your parents are from here. Maybe you moved here. We don't ever want people to feel like because they don't have an investment or a brick and mortar that they can't be a part of the organization. So you can join as an individual for $50. A nonprofit membership for the year is $100, and then a business membership for the year is $150. So we do have partnerships and investor packages. So a partnership is 1,000 or more. And then if you wanted to be an investor, which is 3,000 or more. But again, you do know that was a good thing about an organization like this, because we have a jurisdiction map, we're restricted as to like where we really spend that money. So yes, they have to have staff. However, all of our projects and all of our investments are going to be made downtown for beautification, for events, promotions, marketing, anything like that. So at least this is one of those organizations where you'll get to see your ROI.
But ROI being return on investment. So let me ask you, so if I join as your friend Barry Foster, the local neighborhood talk show guy, or if I join as the multinational Barry Foster Corporation and pay the $3,000, arguably, do I get my name on a plaque someplace, or do I? What kind of return on investment do I see for that?
So if you're an individual, your return, so it says, because I did bring you this, and we can probably post this somewhere, but hopefully when our website's done. So friendship, you're just going to be a part of the Avon Park Main Street family, and we will put you on our website. But if you are an investor, we include 8 annual banquet tickets. You're going to get your logo on our website. You're going to get recognition on our website. You're going to be on our advertising as an investor. You're going to be on our membership roster, and you will get to set up for free at all of our Avon Park Main Street community events. So I'm really excited that I get to be in this role as someone who has had multiple businesses, because I can tell you it gets very expensive being a part of all these organizations. I'm a part of the Chamber, Rotary, Depot Museum, you want to give back as much as you can. But at some point, I think we all can agree, we donate a lot. We sponsor all the teams. We donate our time. We donate a lot of things. But that takes away time as well as a business owner. So I really wanted to make sure when we started curating these packages, I really wanted them to understand that you will get something out of that, and more than just putting your name on a website. Instead of you purchasing for $3,000, you should be getting something instead of just saying, "Oh, really? Hey, would you like to sponsor a table at our banquet?" No, we're going to give you a table at the banquet because you literally gave us $3,000. So I think the fact that we offer things like a free vendor setup at all of our events, I just want to make sure if it's something realistic, how could we help you as a business or an investor?
So the website is under construction, but your
Yes.
social media is already up, isn't
Yes.
it? What platforms in social media are you on? Facebook, Instagram, X, WhatsApp. I mean, what areas in social media are you currently?
So right now we're only on Facebook.
Okay.
We plan on being on the other ones, but it has been such a fast moving journey. I mean, in a month and a half, we've done a lot. So right now we've just been using Facebook. We have 763 followers, and it's actually pretty cool to look at the analytics because majority of our followers are from Avon Park.
So now, if I wanted to find you on Facebook, it would just be Main Street, Avon Park? Is that
Avon Park Main Street?
Avon Park Main Street.
Yep.
And you can look for the attractive new logo with the gazebo in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And did you design that, by the way? That's
Yes.
very nice.
Yes, I created that. And it, to me, when we first came out with our Facebook page, we just kind of threw something up there just to kind of build momentum because everyone was like, "What, Main Street, $30,000? What is this?" So I just wanted to slap something on there. But when I think about Avon Park, and especially when you see the new baseball murals, it's just very historic. It's very charming. I know that the city of Avon Park put out that questionnaire of like city of charm, city of baseball, or baseball city, things like that. So when I saw that it will always be the city of charm to everyone, but I do believe that the bandstand is the heart of downtown. And again, that's up for debate, but for me, I think in our organization, we really wanted to highlight that. And I think that the colors, a lot of people don't know a lot about the caladiums and how we have the biggest grower of caladiums in the world here in Avon Park. So I just wanted to show them some respect too.
So you've got the let's talk a little bit about your social media on Facebook. You've got like almost 800 followers. What kind of response do you get from these folks? Do you put out polls and ask them questions, or they're constantly asking you about when are we going to get a decent beauty shop at whatever store it is in this town? I mean, what kind of feedback do you get when you're looking at the? Because I know my social media is always blowing up with questions. So
Yeah.
What kind of feedback do you get?
So we've had 4 public questionnaires on social media, and they've all been pretty good, 50, 60, sometimes even 100, votes or responses. And that's why it was really important for me to pull the analytics before I came here. Because if majority of our followers are from Avon Park, that tells me that the community is really invested into what we're doing. Because I mean, it surpassed Sebring as well. So, I mean, most of our followers are from Avon Park, but it says engagement. We have 13,580 in the last 28 days. And that is reactions, comments, shares, or clicks on any of our posts in 28 days. And
Nicely
then
done.
and in 28 days, we'd had 143,240 views. And that's the number of times our content was played or displayed. I mean, so for 28 days, that is, you may not be engaging, but you're looking. So
how long before your website goes up? Any idea? I mean, how complicated is it to get your website up?
we have, our board has a organization that's putting that on, that's building it. So hopefully maybe by the end of the month, because we have a lot of things coming up and we really need that website done.
You mentioned events, and I was wondering, do you have any events coming up in the near future? Anything that Main Street Avon Park is going to be doing?
Yes. So we have the City of Charm Spectacular on Main. That is going to be on October 31st from 5 to 9. We have our second Friday of every month. We are going to be doing hometown hangouts. And I think that will fall on November 14th. And that's going to be from 6 to 9. And that's going to be by the Avon Park Depot Museum. So we plan on shutting that off with food trucks, vendors, entertainment, dancing, really fun stuff. And then we're currently in the works of organizing and planning a pickleball tournament as a fundraiser for us. But that's still in the works.
That'll be over there in Verona, Lake Verona Park?
No, that will be this December in Twin Lakes at Avon Park. Yep.
Okay. First of all, the Spooktacular, that's the annual Halloween event?
Yes.
Is that going to be like a trunk or treat, that kind of thing? Or?
No, because, I realize that Avon Park, as much as we do now, in the past, we haven't participated in a lot of things, and Halloween being one of those. Again, you have your churches and your organizations, but as a city, you see that Lake Placid and Sebring always have this huge trunk or treat event, and they have all these people, and they pull out like 10,000 people. And then Avon Park, who has the mile-long mall where you can actually fit 10,000 people, does nothing, So it was a little short notice to ask people to purchase that much candy and ask for involvement. So the thought process was, it's Friday, it's payday. We have the tap room, we have the poorhouse, we have 18 East, we have Little Italy, we have places that are going to be open. So let's give people a date night. I mean, I'm a mother of four, so I love kid events. However, sometimes you do want to go on a date, or maybe you're a grandparent, or maybe you don't have kids. So this is going to be your place to go to if you want to check out our businesses and want to shop local. There's going to be no food trucks, no vendors. We really encourage everyone to go into the downtown stores. There's going to be a scavenger hunt. We're doing a haunted museum, very interactive. Now, it's not to say kids can't go. Kids are more than welcome, but if they're looking for candy, you have to go somewhere else.
Okay, this will be all in the downtown area. It's all throughout Main Street and the side streets.
Yes, so the scavenger hunt, you can pick, we're going to start it off at the community center, so you can be able to pick up your paper, and then the haunted museum is at the museum at 3 North Museum Ave, but everything else will have music at the bandstand. There'll be a DJ there. And
so now, on the you're going to have the second Friday. Is this like every second Friday you're going to do an event in Avon Park? Is that right?
Yes, called Hometown Hangout, and hopefully we'll be able to theme them where it's really cool, because we wanted to do a Christmas event, and the only day we had available actually fell on the second Friday. So hopefully we can theme them. So again, this one would just be like the grand opening or the grand start of them. But then next month we'll have a Christmas hometown hangout, and then moving forward, like a New Year's hometown hangout.
So for the hometown hangout, is it like a car show? Is it just vendors, or how's that going to work exactly?
Hopefully we can get a car show in there. Now, I think we only have like 9 little slots that we're kind of putting them in. So it's not going to be hundreds of cars. We plan on keeping everything small, keeping everything, kind of local. So if we could have a car show, that'd be great. We're going to have a DJ or some sort of entertainer. We plan on utilizing the train car. We'll have vendors, food trucks, and then hopefully we'll get with the community center. If they're not rented out, maybe they can be able to participate as well.
So this is a work in progress as you go along, trying to poke around and find out what works, what doesn't work.
Yeah, and I think that's how everything is, the fact that we have no funding right now. So it's holiday season, snowbirds are coming down, people want things to do. So we're kind of, I think we have a good foundation. I think we know where we're going, but we have to see what works in our community.
Were you able to take a look at the old Main Street program and look at what they did and what worked for them and what didn't work for them? Did they have any kind of records that you were able to kind of pull and take a look and said, well, they tried this and they tried that?
I have looked. I haven't found anything. And I think Florida Main Street has changed over databases. So it's not to say that they can't. It would just be very hard to find out. I have tried and I didn't find much. I know that I received some information saying that they basically started the Main Street for grant points. So in order to get extra points on a grant, you had to have a Main Street program. So I don't know if at any point was it taken serious. I don't know. It may have. I just haven't found that. But I know that it was deactivated. So I clearly it didn't work, but it said it was deactivated because there was no quarterly reports, I think, for 2 years, and then there was no attending of any of their quarterly trainings for 4.
Kind of left to go to seed.
Yeah. So we are responsible for sending quarterly payments to Tallahassee. And we have to go to our quarterly trainings. It's very important to stay on top of things that are changing on a state level, seeing what's going on. And that's why it's more than just going out there to have fun. You know, people don't realize we that's marketing. We make it look fun, but in reality it is work, you know? So it is cool to go. We just went to Plant City and I was just amazed by Plant City. I've never been there. And I like the way they utilize their medians. And I thought that that was something we could use, especially because a lot of our big complaints are that there's no cohesive Main Street. But when you compare the west side to the east side, and I'm talking about closer to 27, Tasmania, the Bagel Bar, you know, Little Italy area, there's so many gaps in between the buildings. And a lot of them, I mean, we even have some houses, you know, it's very hard to draw a crowd out there. Whereas the east side, between the Brickell building, the Jacaranda, the Chamber, it's like so lively. And so it's easier to have events down here. But when I saw the way Plant City utilized their median, I just thought, that would be great for the west side. Give them something to do. Again, that gets people to pull over, take pictures, and, you know, so it's good to see people that are very similar to your town and how they've utilized those spaces.
Is that on a state road? Because this Main Street here is a state road, and it would seem to me I've seen both in the city of Sebring, which Ridgewood is a state road, and Main Street here is a state road, presents some unique challenges if you want to close or do anything on a state road as opposed to, let's pick Museum Avenue, it's a city street. Council can do what they want with it. Yes.
Some of them actually are. Like I believe Okeechobee Main Street is a state road and they have events there all the time. And some of them aren't, but it's more like decorations too. Like things that we could be putting statues out there, you know, benches, walkways, seats and lighting. You know, you just see the beautiful oak trees. I came here to the poorhouse yesterday and something that I've done, you know, I own a farmer's market and I always, when I map out my maps, I always act like a shopper. Like I act like I have a stroller. I act like I have kids and I kind of put myself in someone else's shoes. And I did that last night at the poorhouse. I drove here and acted like it was my first time ever coming to Avon Park. And I think when you do that, it really opens your eyes. And it was dark on Main Street. Even though we have so much light, it still seemed dark because the medians are dark, you know? And when I left the poorhouse, between the Jacaranda and the poorhouse, you have that median right there, and those oak trees are so huge. So when you're walking, you see like these little gleams of light from the Jacaranda. I mean, they're light bulbs. I don't know what wattage they have at the Jack, but it is like you're going to heaven. It is so bright, but you only see it between the leaves. And I just thought about like Lakeland. I'm like, it would be beautiful to walk out of the poorhouse or 18 East or the Jacaranda where, you know, you spend money and to see like beautiful lights, you know? So there's definitely a lot of things that have to happen.
You mentioned you went to Tallahassee to pay your dues. Does the Main Street program pay dues to the state as well as taking care of other things?
So we never went to Tallahassee. We do a lot of virtual communications with Tallahassee. We went to Fernandina Beach, and that was where their Palms 2.5. So that is their like annual meeting, and we went there and we got to meet them finally after a year and a half. Is finally nice to be like, oh, so you're the person I've been talking to for a year and a half. But we don't pay dues to the state. We pay dues to Main Street America.
Oh, okay. And where are they based on? That's a national organization? It's not like Main Street, Florida, that's somewhere here in the Sunshine State. It's a national organization. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm not too sure where they're actually based on. I don't know why I want to say Chicago. That may be like a Rotary thing because I'm, but they are. I want to say they're out of Chicago or somewhere there, but we have a coordinated program. So we have main streets all throughout the United States, but not every state has a coordinating program. We're very fortunate that we do. So that the state of Florida was like, yeah, we really take this program seriously. So we do have a coordinated program.
Do you have mentors or a mentor that says, hey, look, we started our program 10 years ago. This is how we started. And we can look at your situation and say, here's some places we did things wrong. Here's some places we did things right, to kind of give you kind of a roadmap to kind of figure out where you're going.
So we've been very fortunate. When Main Street programs, their directors are so nice. I don't think I've ever had a bad conversation with any director ever. Like, I can call any program right now and just say, hey, this is who I am. Can you help me? And they'll say, oh yeah. Like, they're so excited to see another program. Jessica Newman is the CRA director and Main Street director in Wauchula. And anytime I have a question, she answers it and she's like, girl, nobody is trying to reinvent the wheel. Like, we all, kind of pick each other's brains. I have Linda Holcomb from Main Street Bartow. I can call her at a drop of a dime. Tallahassee, Kathy, she's been great. So we have a lot of, people locally that are willing to help and have been around for a long time.
Now, you said you had some people who signed up for memberships as friends or maybe somewhere up the food chain. Are they also volunteers? They say, hey, look, if I can do something here on Main Street, if I can help you with one of your programs, I can help. Do you have people who are helping to do some of the various chores, or are you doing this all by yourself?
Oh, no, they're very active, especially our board. Our board is very active. We currently have 12 members right now. And anytime I need anything, they always step up to the occasion. And I think that's really important, is having an active board, because I do what they say. They rely on me and I rely on them, but they have the ultimate say. And I think that that's important too, is understanding that we're not a city-owned organization. The city has decided to partner based off what we supplied in the contract. And but we are completely separate, but I work for the board. The board are my bosses. So it's important that they're active.
So we're roughly 10 days out from the Spooktacular. Are there things you're looking for to make this a successful event and an inaugural event, if you will?
Yes. So if anyone, we're still looking for some volunteers. We're looking for some decorations and just keeping the event safe, especially in the museum. We're just looking for some extra hands. If anyone would like to sponsor the event, that would help out, because we want to give a lot of prizes. If we have the funds that come in, then we'll utilize them for that reason. But if we don't, we can't. But something that we thought was important is that when a sponsor gives to us, instead of giving out a cash prize, I want to convert that cash into gift cards, because I want them to come back. So if, say, you donated $50 and you're like, I really want this to go towards an award, I would buy a $50 bagel bar, or 25. I mean, because $50 in bagels is a lot, but a $25 bagel bar gift card, and maybe a $25 Thankful Heart nutrition card. And at least when you win something, what if they were from Sebring? What if they were from Frostproof? Like, now they have to come back to utilize that card.
Well, even if they're from Avon Park, you want them to come back.
Of course.
The Main Street area. So if somebody wins, they may win something to Palmer Electric or the Poorhouse or wherever else. Have you found that as you do this, there are businesses on Main Street that didn't know you existed, that you have to kind of do an introductory as to who you are and what's going on here?
Every time, because we have a new city manager, we have a new CRA manager and economic development manager. We're new. And then we have Kamala Long from the Avon Park Chamber, who's very active, but she's only been here, I think, like 2 years too. So it's like there's so many new people, and we're all talking about the betterment of Avon Park. And they're like, okay, so who are you with? What department are you at? So we actually had a meeting between the three of us between the CRA, Main Street, and Chamber today, and that was like a big thing that we were discussing.
Oh, really? How
Yes.
did that go? I would love to have been a fly on the wall
Yeah.
there. Say, have the new Main Street program, have the Chamber, and have the
Yes.
CRA together. Were you kind of able to kind of draw lines on where you work together and where you intersect and are able to help each other?
Yes. So something that we opened up the meeting with, like, hey, let's give each other. It was actually the first time since the contract has been official that we have been able to sit down. And it's not intentional on why we weren't sitting down with each other. It's just that it's kind of hard. You're waiting on signatures are we going to work together? Are we going to be partners? We don't know. So it was more like I don't think we all wanted to waste each other's time with not knowing, is this something that we have to do, or, so we opened up with updates, and we all had a time to talk about what we plan on doing. We brought up some of our projects. The Chamber talked about some of their events. CRA talked a little bit about their grants. And then we also opened it up for questions, and that was like what we had for each other and some issues. And I said that, I have these folders right here that have like a directory, because we have to go door knocking, and then it says like, this is our organization, this is who we're partner with, this is our membership information. But I get so optimistic that I'm going to get 10 of those signed. But then I walk into a building and it's a 2-hour meeting, because in the past that hasn't been done. So we're really being like a Band-Aid organization, because we get a lot of flack for things that happened years ago with prior city managers, prior mayors, prior this. And you don't want to walk away, because, it is important that they're heard. And I do need to hear their struggles to see how could we make that better. But unfortunately, the truth is that a lot of it we can't. It's not our organization. It's not our department. Or they want us to do things, and it's like, hey, that's already currently being done. It's just not, So I was just explaining that I've been really advocating for the Chamber and the city and the CRA. And I've noticed a lot of the times that most of the complaints that we receive, it's not to sound mean, but typically a lot of people don't know what they're actually talking about. They think they know, because just like news, you just listen to one outlet and it's just like, oh, yep, that's it. But in reality, it's not, so you're valid in your feelings, but you're taking it out on the wrong individuals.
I feel your pain.
Yeah.
I have made news calls in the past and heard people go, it's the media. And oh my gosh. And now I got to pay for every newsman's mistake since Walter Cronkite. It's really not your fault. And sometimes you have to, I guess, tell people what the city's responsible for, what they're not responsible for, and where, if you're going to be mad, at least be mad at the right people.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. And so, I have been where you are. I was fairly new, and I got blamed for something that I didn't know much about, but it was okay. We just pick up and go on from there. So you're going to kind of use these events to kind of both build your stock and to kind of roll over on each other. I mean, you got the Spooktacular coming up at the end of this month, and then 2 weeks next after that, you're going to have the Second Friday event. So you're going to be able to advertise the Second Friday event at the Spooktacular, and then on the Second Friday event, you can say, oh, and by the way, we have a pickleball tournament coming up, run by real pickleballers. And you're not, are you a pickleballer?
No, but I have to be. I'll call you out if you're going to participate and register your team. You could play against me.
So
if I have to be, I will.
so you kind of roll these over one after the other, kind of let people know what's going on. And you've got a really good social media following now. Are you like promoting your posts, or are you going to chamber meetings and city council meetings and other things and telling people what's going on, so they kind of know you exist?
We haven't had any money in our budget to promote anything. So everything has honestly been word of mouth or just old school marketing, but we have been utilizing the Avon Park Chamber coffee chats on Fridays at 9:15. They're open, and I just use that to pass out our flyers. When we hosted our coffee chat, it was to explain the difference between the memberships and the organizations. Like, it really broke it down for a lot of people, and I think we got 4 memberships just from that.
Nicely
from the people
done.
that were attending, 4 businesses. And so we've been trying to utilize that. And my poor board, I keep telling them, I'm like, we normally will not be meeting this much. But again, when you have no money, you really have to play off the time, And so right now it's just a lot of everything. Hopefully we can start them. And then every year it gets a little bit easier because you'll say, this year we really did not like doing that. Like we would love next year to incorporate trick or treating and food trucks and vendors. It just, we didn't have enough time this year. So next year it will be a way bigger event. And we'll see with the hometown hangouts. But I do think that both of them, we even put a questionnaire out for that. People want an evening event.
Now you say you have other businesses. What do you do in real life? What are your businesses that you run?
So I have a cleaning company.
Okay.
And I have 2 farmers markets.
Okay, so are you able to kind of shoehorn all of this together so that you actually have maybe some time to sleep once in a while?
Yes, it seems, and that's the funniest thing because people are like, how do you do it? I'm like, well, I don't. I have employees. I have, volunteers. I have good people that help me with those things. My livelihood is my cleaning company. And then I have Main Street. Right now, it's, getting it started is taking it's been a really weird journey trying to get it all started and the back and forth. But now that we're here, hopefully that can, take off and we can get everything started. But right now, majority of my livelihood is my cleaning company.
Well, as Jerry Garcia of the Grateful Dead once said, what a long, strange trip it's been. So tell me, John and I, and the other shows that we do, just earlier this week, we're talking about farm stands and farmers markets. So tell me about your farmers markets.
So I started a farming journey 2 going on 3 years ago. I'm a Jersey girl, so I really wanted to learn where food came from, but I'm terrified of animals. So it was kind of funny how that worked out. And we started a farm and it was great. But then I realized this is very expensive, like to have animals. So we were like, we need to start selling products, but I've never been a vendor in my life. Most of the things that I have started, I've never done in my life. And so we started a farmer's market and called the Highlands Farmers Market, and it was bringing the farmers back to the market. We really wanted to create a place where you would be able to meet your farmers, know exactly where you're getting the food from, and it was great. And that's how we were approached by 2 Bartow farmers, and they were like, we would love a farmers market because Bartow has tried to have it like 4 times, right? So I was like, all right, I've never been to Bartow, like let's go right now. So we literally went there, and by the time I got there, everyone of importance was there at this local restaurant, and that's where I learned about Main Street. And it's proof that we have, since we started in the summer, and I've had a downtown business tell me that they call it Market Saturdays, that their sales are up 33% every time we have a farmer's market. So it's going on. I think we just celebrated our 1-year anniversary there. We just started our markets 2 weeks ago. So we just kickstarted our season, but it's been really cool to get involved. And our market here is on Sunday. That's just because as a mom, I typically go grocery shopping on a Sunday for the week, but the one in Bartow is on Saturdays. And we have a farmer's market here in Avon Park too, Avon Park Farmer's Market on Saturdays, every Saturday.
Okay, so your farmer's market, you have one in Bartow.
Yes.
And it runs on Saturday.
Yes.
And round numbers, how many vendors do you get of a Saturday over there?
15. I mean, we purposely have a small market.
Okay.
I always say you when it comes to markets, you have market organizers, owners, whatever you want to call them, that live off vendor fees, right? And that's when you see 4 or 5 honey vendors, 6 or 7 tumbler vendors. I do not. I'm even lucky if the markets pay for themselves most of the time, but I really focus on the quality. I don't need 2 honey vendors. I don't need 4 bread vendors undercutting each other. I would rather have 10 vendors selling unique quality items than have 45 to impress and you're just walking by shopping. I want you to support them.
So on Saturday, it's in Bartow. Where in Bartow is it located?
Downtown Bartow at Fort Blount Park.
In where?
Fort Blount Park.
Fort Blount Park. Now you have one on Sunday here in Avon Park. Round numbers, how many vendors do you get there for a Sunday?
15, because that's a new location. We're at Maxwell Groves now.
You're out of Maxwell Groves?
Yep.
Okay. And it's all set up out there from when to when?
Well, we're usually 10 to 2. We're thinking about expanding it to 10 to 3 because they're open till 4. And it seems like because most people come after church. So it's kind of dead until like 11, and then bam, all these people show up because it's after church.
So if are there certain kinds of vendors that you're looking for that you currently don't have that you would like to see to kind of round out the selections that are there?
I would like to see some sort of like t-shirt vendor that can like make t-shirts right on the spot. I mean, right now we have dog treats, we have ingredients, spices, we have eggs, we have sourdough, we have microgreens, we have honey, plants. I mean, we jams, jellies, pickles, salsa, beef. Like we have most of the edible products down. So I think reaching out and trying to just find, it would have woodworkers would be cool. Someone that does like cutting boards or cow hides. I don't know, just anything.
So suppose there's a vendor that wants to come in that fits the mold. What does it take to be a vendor? How much does it cost to set up shop over there?
It's $25.
So, and both in Bartow and in at Maxwell's?
Bartow's 35.
Bartow's 35, probably more traffic in Bartow.
Yeah, and it's far for us. It's like a circus of vendors at this point. We all travel with each other, but it's really far for us. So for travel for me, it was just easier and we had to supply a restroom there, and it's very expensive.
And there's one also over at the Jacaranda on Saturdays.
Yes, that one's the Avon Park Farmers Market. Okay. That's every Saturday.
All right. So, by the way, we're talking with Jane Benham, who is the executive director of the Avon Park Main Street program, but also heads up a cleaning company. What's the name of your cleaning company?
Rustic Touch Cleaning.
Rustic Touch Cleaning. Should be glad to get in touch with you. Very competitive rates, and also runs 2 different farmers markets, one on Saturday in Bartow, one on Sunday out at the Maxwell Groves. And so now what's your next project? You've got 3 projects currently planned. You got the Spooktacular at the end of October. You got the second Friday, the inaugural second Friday is going to be November 14th. Then you've got a pickleball tournament. Do you have other things in the works that are coming up?
Yes, so that is just the events. So right now we're actually trying to raise funds for a lighting project. So we really feel like North Museum Ave is kind of underutilized. So we plan on focusing on that area. One, because it's city owned, so it doesn't cost too much and it's not too hard to shut down. But 2, it's actually a really good area, and it's in the middle, so it's kind of nice. I feel like the chamber does a lot on the east side, and then the west side gets like nothing. Not to anyone's fault, but if we can head up the middle, now we have something going on the east middle, and then hopefully we can get something on the west.
And it's a good location because you have the baseball museum, the depot museum, the community center, and the library, all with a couple of parking lots and a street. So there's plenty of room there to do different things. So that's a nice place to hold events.
Yeah. And we have a little desk there that they let us use, and we call that the office. But it's literally just a desk that has our forms. So if you ever wanted to join a committee or you want to see what we have going on, you could walk up to the desk and at least see. But right now you're probably not going to really find us in it because everything has been grassroots, like door knocking.
It seems like you're never you're always out doing something.
Always. There's a business coming here. There's someone trying to come here. There's a city council meeting. There's a lot to do.
When I worked at the radio station, there was an owner who, if he walked in the back and saw somebody in the sales office, he would ask them what they were doing there because they should be out pounding the pavement.
Yeah.
So you're out pounding the pavement. When is the next Avon Park Main Street meeting? Are you going to have another meeting in the near future to let folks know what you're doing?
Hopefully, maybe. We are always down for having community chats. I think we need one, especially maybe next month sometime. But there's nothing currently planned, only because we have so much going on with the events. And I laughed that you said pounding the pavement because everyone keeps telling me, "Oh, Jane, you look like you're losing weight." I'm like, this is not Ozempic, okay? This is me burning on Main Street, walking up and down, and it is. There's 2 versions. You either see me getting ready for a meeting and it's the hair, the glam, the dresses, and, dressed to impress. And then there's like, who is that person? I've never met her in my life because it's stained up shirts, leggings, sneakers, frizzy hair. I'm like, messy bun, getting stuff done. Like, I mean, sitting at an office is nice, but we really don't have time for that. And anytime that someone signs up to be on the board or the committee, I just make or comes up with an idea. I'm like, we're like the city of dreamers, but we have a hard time doing. So if you have a suggestion or you have an idea, please come ready to roll up your sleeves and wear your boots because we're going to do it.
And what's the best way for folks to get in touch with you?
Avon Park Main Street at gmail.com.
Avon Park Main Street at gmail.com. Or if you're a Facebook person, you can probably drop her a message on the Avon Park Main Street Facebook page.
Yep. And then when we have our website, it's going to be avonparkmainstreet.org.
And give me your email address one more time, would you?
Avon Park Main Street, all one word. At Gmail.
At Gmail. All right. Jane, this is great. And listen, when we a little bit further down, is there anything else we need to talk about? Okay, a little bit down the road, I want to talk about some more of your stuff. Okay, this is a great program, the Avon Park Main Street program. If you want to get in touch with her, just send her an email at avonparkmainstreet@gmail.com, or you can go to the Avon Park Main Street Facebook page and drop her a line there. So we appreciate you spending some time with us. You've been listening to the latest edition of the Barry Foster Show, recorded here at the Ridge Floor Studios, located in the City of Charm, beautiful downtown Avon Park. Any thoughts, ideas, or suggestions for the program? People you'd like to talk, like us to talk to, subjects you'd like us to approach? We'd be glad to do it. If you'd like to be a sponsor, send us a little email at thebarryfostershow@gmail.com. Check out the YouTube page here at the Barry Foster Show. Monday through Friday, we try to put up a new program each and every weekday. And like and subscribe our YouTube page. That would help a lot. And join our pages at the Barry Foster Show on Facebook and on Instagram. As we continue to look for truth, justice, and the American way, this is Barry Foster, and we'll see you next time.